Leslye Headland, creator of The Acolyte, famed lesbian and personal former assistant to Harvey Weinstein, who created one of, if not the worst Star Wars project that we have ever seen from Disney. And considering the shit that's out there, that's saying a lot. It was so bad that unlike everything else that fails for them when they just don't mention it and hope people stop asking about it and it quietly goes away when it's canceled, Disney actually told us that this shit was canceled. Now, it happened from a leak, not because Disney made some big official announcement, mind you, but it was a leak nonetheless that The Acolyte is done, that it was over. And that made sense to anyone with a brain who watched it. It was almost universally despised. And really, it got terrible ratings, lost a fuck ton of money for them, cost $250 million to make. And it was Leslye Headland's little pet project. Since then, haven't heard much from Leslye Headland.
Nope.
Until now. How Leslye Headland is forging ahead with diverse stories amid industry's rollback. And what really happened with The Acolyte. So
what really happened?
And that is the primary reason I believe that anyone is interested in this. What really happened with The Acolyte. And we'll just cut to the headline, Jay. Leslye Headland calls YouTube critics fascists and racists while addressing The Acolyte cancellation. Now,
imagine my shock.
I do want to be as fair as possible to Leslye Headland. She did not say that everybody that doesn't like it is a fascist or a racist. That's not exactly what she said. She said that, I think some of the criticism is valid, but then she does a bunch of deflecting. She says, I think some of the people that are reviewing the show are genuine, but then this, and this. She 100% is trying to deflect a lot of the criticism for the show and the failures of the show onto these racist, fascist fans, Jay. This is just typical. And look, her fucking stupid bitch wife has been doing that for a year.
Yeah.
Right? The wife who she cast to play in this has been doing that the entire fucking time. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that she also feels that that is somewhat to blame for her show failing. But we can go through it, Jay. The Acolyte creator explains why the show is canceled in a new interview. So there's a lot of quotes from this, and we will get to them. But first of all, Jay, what did you think when you saw the headline?
Not surprising. I'm actually sad she's not doing a season 2. When The Acolyte was in full swing, boy, did my YouTube channel, like that thing just loved The Acolyte more than anything I put out in years. I made more money than probably the show did on my channel.
Well, the show lost money, so you could have made a penny and you would have probably been good, Jay.
So, but it's we knew that she's going to get asked these questions. It definitely was like, she'll probably continue for the rest of her career, get asked about The Acolyte. And it's not surprising that she would call people out and stuff like that, but
it's also like this new trend, right? Because racist hasn't worked out very well, homophobe hasn't worked out very well, bigot hasn't worked out very well. Now it's fascist.
Now it's fascist, right?
I really don't understand where it's coming from, unless you assume that they feel like anyone who voted for Donald Trump is a fascist, right? Maybe that's what their connection is. That's where their head is at. And if that's the case, you're calling half the fucking audience fascists.
Probably.
Which is just so insane. It's so insane to fucking think about.
Correct. Yeah. That's the new talking word. Again, like you said, like every time Daisy Ridley does a movie, they just ask her about Star Wars. They don't even care what other movie she's in. They just ask her about Star Wars. They'll probably do the same to Leslye. Poor old Leslie's going to have to answer Acolyte. But I'm curious, Ryan, what really happened? What happened to the show?
Well, let's get into it. Headland explains that making The Acolyte was always a major risk. Okay, so set expectations low. By the way, it's not crazy that this failed. We always knew it was probably going to fail. It was a huge risk to do something like this.
Yes.
It was a new part of the timeline. It was all new characters. It was part of the lore where you couldn't use a stormtrooper. You didn't have to the reference of the politics of the war that Tony Gilroy has brilliantly exploited in such a genius way in Andor. But all that iconography, all those visual references are original trilogy references. And our references were the High Republic novels and the Publishing Initiative and the prequels, specifically with the lightsabers. A little bit of shitting on the prequels, I guess, offhandedly. But wait, wasn't this is Disney? You did have characters you could pull from.
Yes.
You had High Republic characters that Disney has created. So are you saying that almost no one fucking cares about those because that was a complete and total disaster? I mean, that's true. That's true. But the idea that we didn't have these things, you fucking tease Yoda in the show, right? You brought Darth Plagueis into this fucking show. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, it's C-3PO and Princess Leia. So yeah.
You're talking about a different show, Jay.
C-3PO wasn't in this show. I'm thinking of Andor.
You're thinking of Ahsoka.
Oh yeah, Ahsoka. My bad. Wait. We also had
you also had Obi-Wan, in which
we had the Conehead Jedi. What the heck is his name?
We had Kiadi-Mundi.
Yeah, Kiadi-Mundi. My bad. I'm getting my Star Wars shows mixed up.
You get your Star Wars shows that start with A mixed up a little bit there, Jay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. But where is it? For many, the risk didn't pay off as The Acolyte was met with mixed reviews from fans and critics. And this is where she starts to take a little bit of ownership and then immediately slides it off. I also think that any gripes creatively with the show are completely valid. That's people's reaction. It's usually their reaction to their own reaction. But like I said, the show is always a risk. It's the old adage, first one through the wall is the bloodiest. So we never really had a chance, Jay. We never had a chance for this to be successful. So much was working against us. And by the way, people can have their reactions, but it's not actually their reactions to the show. It's their reactions to their reactions is why they don't like it. Whatever the fuck that means. Headland addressed what her experience was like seeing the show be attacked by people in the media, including those in Star Wars media. I was not online, Headland said. Press X to doubt. However, I'm a Star Wars fan, which means I've always been, since the launch of YouTube, part of the Star Wars recap, criticism, lionization fandom community. These guys I've known for years and years. So when I got the information from others about what the weather report was, there was this real concern from friends of mine or coworkers of mine that saddened me. I also was like, I know who these guys are. You don't have to tell me who's talking about it or how bad it is online. I know exactly who they are. I supported them on Patreon. There are some of them that I respect, and there are some of them that I think are absolutely snake oil salesmen, just opportunists. Then, of course, there are the fascists and the racists. So it runs a gauntlet. It runs a gamut, not a gauntlet. It runs a gamut. It isn't just one thing or the other. See, it's like, hey, not everybody. There's a couple that are being genuine. There's a few that are being genuine, but also a lot of them are snake oil salesmen or grifters or opportunists or racists or fascists. Again, it's all this thing about pretending to take some ownership or being like, I get why people didn't like it, but that's really the reaction to their reaction. You know, I understand some people didn't like it, but most of them are actually just lying pieces of shit, racist Nazis. Like, that's what this is.
She says she supported some on Patreon.
I wonder if I was one. I don't think so.
I don't know if she supported my Patreon. Interesting. I do know one Star Wars channel that has a huge page. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's huge, but they do have a Patreon following. Maybe she supported them.
Yeah, look, I don't think it's likely that too many people that reacted the way that we did to the Acolyte, that she would have supported us anyway. That's my guess. That's my guess. Headland continued. So in some ways, I wasn't surprised. And then in other ways, I was disappointed. I think you always do that when you create something. It's just that Star Wars is on a massive level of visibility. And then this is a very interesting thing. In a surprising remark, Headland said the reaction of the Acolyte taught her, not that fans are toxic, but something else entirely. It made me start to think, rather than these fans are toxic or this thing is being mean to me, it made me think that the content being made about Star Wars will ultimately be more culturally impactful than actual Star Wars.
The message?
I don't disagree that the content surrounding Star Wars right now, in terms of the sphere and the space and the commentary, the critiques, the reviews, all that stuff, I don't disagree that is more relevant than actual Star Wars right now. But it's not because of George Lucas, right? It's because of Disney. It's because Disney is fucking destroyed it.
Yes.
It's because they have absolutely destroyed it. I also think this is like kind of an offhand thing about how she was trying to push forward. She was trying to push the boundaries. She was trying to do something new and different and unique. But it got blasted down by all these people making content about Star Wars. So that's more culturally relevant. I think it's another one of those plays to like try to push that type of narrative.
Agreed.
And then I think the last thing that is kind of interesting is this. When the show was canceled just weeks after the finale aired, Leslye Headland said she was not surprised by it. I think I was surprised at the swiftness of it and the publicness of it. I was surprised with how it was handled. But once I got the particular phone calls about the reaction and the criticism and the viewership, I felt like, okay, the writing's on the wall for sure. She said that the understanding of the show's viewership was a little muddled for her. With Star Wars, you're not just measured within the marketplace you happen to be in, you're measured against every other Star Wars show. Well, also you're measured against how much money you put into it, what they're expecting to get out of it. Of course, that's the case. And yours was a failure in every possible fucking metric. Fan reaction, viewership, everything. So that shouldn't be all that muddled. It should be pretty fucking clear to understand. But I do think it's funny that she was getting calls from Disney and Lucasfilm about the reaction and the criticism and the viewership, and it was all really bad.
Hey,
what a disaster,
Leslye, no one's really watching the show. I don't know. It doesn't seem to have a good buzz going on. Leslye, what do you think? Well, I got 3 more seasons.
Hey, there's a lot of racists and fascists that don't like the show.
Well, then we're pushing the right buttons, don't you think, Bob?
Well, yeah, but the problem is it's at a 19% audience score. So if you're telling us that it's the racist and fascist, there sure are a lot of racists and fascists out there. What's going on, Leslye?
You've got to shake those racists and fascists from the fandom. That's what we got to do, Bob. And if you keep letting me do my show, it'll happen. Well, guess what? No season 2 for you. Too bad.
Well, thank you, Leslye Headland. Just when I was wondering what we were going to talk about today, you gave us this gift of speaking and opening your fat mouth once again. And I do want to address, she didn't say everybody that didn't like the show is a racist or fascist. However, the way that she worded it very clearly there's some people I think are genuine, but there's also all these other people. She's 100% trying to put the blame on the reaction to the show on them. That's what she's doing.